Weston here with OpticLEDGrowlights.com, and today I'm going to be showing you guys on the Generation 2. So if you have a Optic 246 Generation 2 and you need to put in new LED boards and you order the warranty kit for replacement LED boards, if that's what the problem is determined to be, I'm going to show you how to put this in. So here at Optic LED, we have all the components in our light are designed with plug and play connectors. So I'm going to show you guys how simple and easy this truly is. You're going to get complete LED board with new cob chips and new LEDs, lenses and everything on there. What you will have to do is we're going to open up the light here. I'm going to show you real quick and easy. We're going to pop the lid off, pull the LED boards off of the lid. They're attached to the lid. We're going to reuse these lenses onto the new LED boards and the heat sinks that are in there. So we're going to take the heat sinks off of the old LED boards. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to get the new LED boards plugged into the light. Here's the only tool you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver. And we're just going to remove the 8 screws that are holding down the lid to the light. Let me just show you how to do this. I'm just going to do just these two. And then you just continue all the way around. Once you have the screws removed, set the light up on edge like this. You can see the lid comes right open like that. And then you just disconnect. These are the driver wires that connect power to your LEDs. So they all have these really nice and easy plug and play connectors. So we just disconnect these. Once you disconnect all the drivers from the LED board, there's one little black wire over here that you can see, and that's the temperature sensor, and you just pull on it and it pops right out. Simple as that. Now that's the hard part. Here's the easy part. Take a look here. You can see it's really important when we put these screws back in, all these plastic washers have to be perfect just like this. You don't have metal touching metal right here. So we're going to leave the temperature sensor on because, well, we're actually going to set it up on the new LED boards once we attach them to the heatsink. This is an Optic 4 Gen 2, so this is what it looks like on the inside. This is what the drivers look like. This is the control panel right here. And these are the cooling fans and drivers. So these heat sinks, it's real simple. We're going to remove these screws. Okay, each one has 6, and then on the other side we remove 8 screws, which holds the LED board on. Once you've removed these 6 screws, you can then pick the LED board straight up. When you turn it over, those screws are going to fall out. That's totally fine. And we're going to remove these lenses because we're going to reuse these lenses. Okay, if we take a look, you can see we have the cob holders. So we're going to take the screws out because we're going to use these cob holders and the lenses on the new board setup. Those are the new boards right there. Once you remove these last screws from the front here, the LED board will pop right off, and you can see there's thermal paste on the board and thermal paste on the heatsink still. So now you add the thermal paste that comes with the replacement board kit. So we want to get the spots where the cobs are going to be first. And then any extra you have, you can just spread it out. It's not a lot, but a little bit goes a long ways. Just like that. And then we pop the new LED boards right on there. Just like so. So now that we have those boards set on there, Just make sure these holes are lined. You put your 8 screws back in. Then we're going to put the cob holders on. Let me show you how to torque down a couple of these screws, because we really want to make sure we get the LED board mounted really nice and solid so it transfers all the heat from the board into the heatsink and cools itself properly. Boom, just like that. You can see with the cob chip here that comes in the Optic 2, 4, and 6 that it's square in shape. And when it goes in there, it has to fit perfectly into the grooves so that it sits flat onto the heatsink. And then you just put it down on here and screw it down on there. Once you have your screws put in on the cob holders, holding it flat onto the heatsink here, then we just put the lenses back on, plug it into the light, and you are good to go. You can see the lens has actually 4 little holes with pegs on them, so that you click those into the hole there. And you got to make sure that these wires are tucked underneath so that there's room for the lens to go on there. Yep, pushes right in the pegs just like that. So now that we have the lenses on the LED boards, we go ahead and lay these right back into the lid. Simple enough. We're going to make sure we put that temperature sensor back on right there with the screw. And this is important. These screws have a plastic washer so the screw isn't touching the heatsink. So it's important to make sure that you have washers on the screws when you're putting these back on there. Now that you went ahead and screwed down your LED board and secured it to the lid of the light, we can go ahead and put the lid back on the light over here. The easiest way to do this is to put them up on end, and you gotta rotate and make sure you have the temperature wire on the side of the light where the control panel is. And then you just go ahead and get everything connected back up. These top 2 driver wires go to the top 2 LED board wires, and then you just connect all 3 rows of wires. Once you have all the wires plugged in, then you just match up the base of the housing back up to the lid. Make sure all the wires are tucked in. Put it back on just like so. Once you have wires tucked in, the lid's back on flush, we then put these screws back around the edge here. All 8 screws, put the lid on, and then we'll plug it in and test it. Let's do a quick test to make sure we have these LED boards installed properly. Plug it into power. Let's go ahead and turn. Look at that. Full functionality. Looks like all the LEDs are working good. Cobs are working good. The lenses look nice. You can definitely take a microfiber towel and wipe them down, keep them clean. But that's how you replace the LED boards on a Generation 2. Generation 2 is all plug and play components. So if anything ever does happen, we make it so we could always just send you a part. You could easily plug in and fix it. It's real simple. So that's how you do it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.